Jedi should not use the Force for personal gain. We are better than that. The dark side dwells in us all, but you cannot give in to your baser instincts like this. You should treat your power with respect, not use the Force on a whim like it is some toy. I idolized her, and the stories they told of her. She was everything I had dreamed a Jedi could be. I still believe she was that way. I must give you my thanks. Because of you, I am once again welcome within the Jedi Order. I have spoken to the Council, and they have helped me see the truth about myself and the truth of my actions. Quatra's injuries were not so severe as I first believed. I was foolish to believe I could harm a master such as she with my clumsy efforts. The fierce confrontation between us was nothing more than part of my training. Quatra wanted me to understand the threat of the dark side, to see how easy it was to fall from the path of light. After our last battle, Quatra had nothing left to teach me. I needed time alone to explore the turmoil of my own spirit. Only then was I ready to follow a guide, you, back to the light. When I left, Quatra knew her work with me was done. There are other disciples who need training throughout the galaxy, and she could not stay to see if I passed this most difficult trial. With your help, I have passed this difficult trial. The Council now feels I am ready to continue with my training, though they have asked me to wait here for the time being. Quatra's methods may seem strange, but I trust her wisdom. This lesson has been difficult, but I am better because of it. Humility is never easy to teach, but now I truly understand my own limitations. I do not know what the Council has in store for me, but I will trust in the Force and the way of the Jedi to help me through whatever is to come. You are strong. Stronger than me, even in my darkness. I am Juhani, and this is my grove. This is the place of my dark power. This is the place you have invaded. When I embraced the dark side, this is where I sought my solace. It is mine. When I slew my master, Quatra, I knew I could never go back. And now I revel in my dark power. Power enough to crush the life from someone such as you. Or so I had thought. Yes, I struck her down in the middle of training, consumed by my anger, embracing the power of hate. But it was not enough. You overestimate yourself, whelp. A better Jedi than you will ever be. More powerful as well, for I could best my teacher. Yes, aren't they pretty? My pets. They like the smell of power I exude. They know their master. I harnessed true power when I struck down my master, Quatra. I, Juhani, shall be your death! I do not know what to do, now that I have caused such suffering to my master and those around me. How can I ever face the Council now with what I have done? It is hopeless. It could not be possible that they would accept me back. What is it you want? Why do you bother me? The Council has sent you here to kill me. Why, then, when you bested me so easily, did you not simply finish your task? Is it not apparent that I can never be saved? You do not? I am pathetic. I sit here and think myself to be great by embracing the dark side, but I am nothing. There is no way I could be turned back. I always thought they held me back, or jealous of my power. But this is only because I was not good enough to meet their standards. I never have been. I thank you for your kind words, Jedi. You seem to know just what affects me. I seem to still have much to learn, both about being a Jedi and about myself. But I wish the cost of my ignorance had not been so high. I wish that my master had not suffered because of me. I only wish things could have been different. If she were alive now, there would be so much I would say to her, so much I would apologize for. I think, in my own way, I truly loved her. How can the Council ever take me back with what I have done? Striking my master down in anger is unforgivable. I should convince them that I am truly repentant, that I am willing to forsake the dark side. And maybe, just maybe, they would accept me back. Do you think they would? Could it be possible after what I have done? I thank you, Master Jedi. I will return to the Council then. I shall submit myself to their judgment and hope they will forgive me. If only there was some way I could make this up to you. Again, I thank you. I am sure I will hear great things about you in the future. I thank you, Master Jedi. The Council may forgive a lot, but not this. If I show them I am free of passion, that I am serene, that I am willing to forsake the dark side, the Council may forgive a lot, but not this. I am lost. Even though I would repent, there is nowhere left for me to go. Leave me to my hopelessness. You monster! To mock my grief that way. Leave me at once, lest I strike you down. And denied? No, I cannot. And so here I will stay. It is. But learning does not have to end in death. She knew I would be headstrong, but she also thought I would adhere to the light. Instead, I betrayed her trust and fell prey to my own inner darkness. Life is suffering, yes, but it was by my conscious choice. It was I who hurt her, I who killed her. Her suffering is my fault alone. Leave me to my pain. What? No. I will not let you take me now. You think compliments will convince me I didn't kill my master? Leave me to my agony. Why? Because I am right, that's why. I can see the truth in your eyes as well. Do not look at me again. They came to me. They sought me out, so it is their failure that I have fallen. Come back when you have something more meaningful to say. What? Oh, what foolishness is this? Standards are made to apply to everyone. And if I cannot measure up to them, well, then I am no one at all. Leave me. Lies! Leave me and come back when you have ovaries big enough to finish your task. Lies! Leave me and come back when you have the testicular fortitude to carry out your task. Lies! Leave me and come back when you have the courage to finish your task. Not anger, peace. Yet even with your naive attitude, you managed to beat me. Thinking of using technicalities to do the deed and ease your conscience? Act or be gone. Talk. You who have beaten me so easily just want to talk? I do not believe it. Kill me now while you still have the power. I have fallen, and dark power courses through my veins. I can never go back to the Council, so here I shall stay. Flee back to your masters, Jedi. There is no time to talk now. Our priority is to find what caused this disturbance in the Force. It is close by. I know that much. I feel I must apologize for the way I acted towards you before in the Grove. It was wrong of me. I am sorry for attacking you. I am sorry for thinking you would only try to kill me. I hope that by helping you in your task, I may redeem myself in your eyes, and in my own. Thank you. It is most reassuring to know that you can forgive me, even though I tried to take your life. It may, but I am prepared to do what it takes. I can only hope that, in our time journeying together, I will succeed. You mock me. I will do what it takes to redeem myself in the eyes of my peers. I will succeed. I will prove myself to you and to everyone. I will be a faithful companion to you and Bastila as long as our journey may last. I realize you have justification, but that anger only leads to the dark side. Please do not fall into the same trap that caught me. The dark side is most devious and deceptive. It can find the smallest weakness to exploit. I thought that too, but I was wrong. How can you possibly be Revan? The Jedi whose troops saved me on Taris. It was Revan, leading an army out to defeat the Mandalorians. It was you. You are nothing like the one who saved me on Taris. You are obviously not who I thought you were once upon a time. I thought you were the ideal Jedi. I thought you would never turn against us. Yet here you are. You did turn in the end. I did not want to believe it. But now, I suppose you have a chance to redeem yourself. You can work with us. For the Republic. For the Order. We can set right what you started so long ago. Yes, we shall. I only hope that you will see this through until the end. Time will tell what choices you make. I shall stay by you to see this task done. And I hope that what you see as necessary is what we originally set out to do. Only through serving the Republic do you serve yourself as well. In defeating Malak, you save all of us along with you. I knew when I heard that you had become the Dark Lord of the Sith that something was wrong with it. The man who saved me could never go completely to the dark side. The woman who saved me, who I have come to care for, could never go completely to the dark side. The woman who saved me, who I have come to admire, could never go completely to the dark side. It is good to know that you have truly changed. It gives me hope. I do not think now that I will fall to the dark side. I only have to look at you and follow by your example, and there is no way I can fail. Yes, that is true. I suppose you would know better than I. Thank you for placing your confidence in me. I only wish I had your heart as well. I will never forget what you did for me, even if you do not remember it. That is especially meaningful, coming from you. I am sorry. I did not realize. I will endeavor to be more considerate in the future. This may be the last time I will have a chance to talk to you. I just want you to know that I care for you. I do not know why. I do not know if anything will be possible, or if you even return what I feel, but I do know it is there. I am sorry if this upsets you. I am so sorry if I am wrong, but I cannot deny what it is that I feel. Now that I have put myself in this position, I know not what to say. Yes, I thank you. Yes, I thank you. But as much as I may care for you, and you for me, first we must deal with Malak. After, there will be time to sort things out between us. I understand. You have someone somewhere, or I just do not seem to appeal to you. I am sorry for pushing myself on you. I apologize for my actions. I suggest we find and confront Malak as soon as possible to remove the threat to the Republic once and for all. I was afraid I would have no more time to say it. I wonder if all of us will survive what we must do, but I feel I must. I have never said this before. Of course, I am sorry. I should have known better. I can only say that if I am going to die, as we stand likely to, I am glad that it will be you beside whom I do it. I just want to thank you for all that you have done for me, for saving me from the dark side, for accepting me on your journey. It is good to know that I have been of some value, even if not as much as I would like. I will prove my true worth to you. We will defeat Malak and save the Republic from the Sith threat once and for all. I defer to your wisdom in this matter. I have little knowledge of the true power of the Sith. I pledge my life to your cause. I will stand by you till the end. I will help you in any way I can. So, here we are, in the belly of the beast. Here we are, in a Sith interdictor, loaded with troops and Sith Jedi, and you wonder at my apprehension? Knowledge of the almost certainty of my death tends to make me introspective. I wish that I had more time to turn you from the path you seem to have chosen. I wonder if that is true. For your sake, I hope that it is. If you will not listen to me, then to who? I respect your abilities, and I care for you. If you will not listen to me, then to who? I admire you greatly, and respect your abilities. I hope that is true. Truly I do. But you have also fallen far from the ideals of the Jedi Order. Can you still do what is required of you? Your conviction is compelling, but also disturbing. Your steadfast desire for vengeance credits your perseverance, but I fear for you. It is too easy to give in completely to the dark side. I know I worry too much, and I know you may be irritated by my saying this, but do not fall the way I did. You have so much potential. I do not want you to waste it. But there is enough to worry about without my making it worse. Perhaps we can speak more of this later, once we leave this ship. If I am going to die here then, I am glad to have stood by you. I do not favor our chances at all. But if you believe that we can, then maybe there is a possibility. Live or die, I shall stand by you as you need me. I only wish that we had had more time together. It is too late to do anything now. We must do what we can to escape from here. When we have left, perhaps then we can see what the future holds for us. Live or die, I shall stand by you as you need me. Yes, we should. Your focus on your work does you credit. Let us leave this place then, if we can. We are in a Sith interdictor loaded with troops and Sith Jedi. I am not favoring of our chances. How reassuring. I, though, would not have liked to die quite so soon. My Cathar blood seethes at the thought of that man still running free. I cannot stand still while I think about it, but I will not give in to the dark side either. He will pay for his crimes, though. He will most likely be following us. Me. If we could find him first, then he may not be able to set in motion whatever he has in store for us. That man was a beast! A monster! I am glad that the galaxy is now rid of him, so he may not harm others again. I do regret, though, that he did not die by my hand. I know, but must I always fear the lure of the dark side? It was for the best. I am glad that you stood by my side during this. We should continue our journeys now. No reason for staying here for this. I do not know any more what I am strong enough for. I only take what comes to me and hope that I can handle it. The lure of the dark side will always be my strongest foe. I should have killed him. I felt satisfaction taking revenge for my people like that. But I should not have let my anger consume me so. What I could have, I should have. I must try harder in the future to resist the call of the dark side. I suppose I am fortunate that, in this case, he was deserving of such an end. Yes, I do. I must try harder in the future to resist such urges. I suppose I am fortunate that, in this case, he was deserving of such an end. We should continue on our way. I do not want to linger around here any more. No, I didn't. I let my anger and passion consume me and did something rash. Something which leads me down the path to the dark side. But I recognize this, and I am truly regretful that I committed this act. I shall not let it happen again. I suppose I was fortunate that, in this case, he was deserving of such an end. I have been watching you, and I cannot help but feel that you are becoming more distant. When we met, it was you that convinced me to turn away from the lure of the dark side. But now it seems that you are falling into the trap that had caught me. No, please, I must speak. When we first met, I looked at you with contempt. You were some insect sent by the Jedi Council to eliminate me. But you are more powerful than I ever would have thought. It seemed so easy for you to overcome me. I think that you flatter me again, and I do not know why. I worry for you. I look, and I see you turning away from the code of the Jedi. I wonder if you can see it. That you did. You took away the dark taint that had been consuming me and restored me to the light. You took me away from there. But now I wonder what it is that you see in your own reflection. And this is just the problem. You seem to revel in your power, use it far too frequently for your own gain. I do not know. I fear that you may be starting to fall. If only there were some way I could turn you away from the path that you seem to be headed down. I wonder if it started when you met me in that grove. I wonder if it could be my fault. That is true, but still, I worry about the ones you make. But I have faith in you. I would follow you into battle with Malak himself. I will stand by your side. I wish I could believe that as you do. Maybe I do. I have had reason to wonder recently if I have had any effect at all. I have been watching you for some time. I wonder if you have noticed. I have been thinking of how far I had fallen, and how you exemplify the code of the Jedi. I find myself ashamed that I had so easily fallen to the dark side, that I could convince myself that by injuring my master, I became a great force of evil in the galaxy. For my pride, my hubris, for the inner rage that all of my species feels. Sometimes I wish that I had not been born this way. I am sorry. I start to talk, thinking about how you stay strong to the path of virtue and justice, and I find myself whining again about my own inadequacies. The Council would be proud to see that you had learned your lessons so well, as am I. But I have so little to show when I compare myself to you. and that makes my shame even worse. Your power in the Force is strong, and I can sense no taint of the dark side in you. That makes my shame even worse. I have been thinking about our journey together, and how we are more similar than I had first thought. I know how hard it was for me to resist the call of the dark side, and I know that you have suffered those pains as well. The continual struggle between restraint and freedom, light and darkness. It is hard for me with my Cathar blood to resist sometimes. I do resist. I look to you and I see that we are in this together, and that you are resisting as well, and that gives me strength. I think the Jedi Council would be proud to see that you are holding up so well, in spite of the hardships you have endured. As am I. But similar enough, we have had many of the same sort of experiences. I did not mean in appearances, but we have had some of the same experiences. Yes. What is it? Dantooine. Dantooine has been my home for a number of years, ever since I started my training with the Jedi. It is a lightly populated planet, mostly focused on agriculture and hunting of the wild beasts that roam its plains. The most populous form of animals on its surface are the Irias, herd beasts that are normally quite tame, but can be violent when provoked, and the Kethhounds, vicious pack predators. Kethhounds do not normally attack people, except when it is a pack of them ambushing a lone individual. But recently, they have been much more aggressive. I am to blame for that, I believe. But enough of my self-recrimination. I should not dwell on the past, but rather look to the future. Is there anything else you need? Manaan is a water-rich world, as you may have been able to tell. With the exception of this Otto city, there is no land on the world protruding above sea level. The dominant indigenous race of the world are the Selkath, a semi-aquatic bipedal species. They are known to be very dreary and strong proponents of the power of law above all else. The extremist policies of the Sith seem to appeal to them. They have declared themselves neutral in this conflict between the Republic and the Sith. The Selkath seek to preserve their independence by maintaining a stranglehold on the one unique resource of their world, the vulnerary liquid Kolto, the most powerful curative in the galaxy. As the only world in the galaxy that produces Kolto, they have positioned themselves between the Sith and the Republic, supplying both sides with the medicine equally. They hope in this way to make themselves too valuable to both to be conquered. As a last resort, they have made it clear to both sides that any attempt to attack their world will force them to destroy the Kolto supply entirely. Any violation by either the Republic or the Sith of their sacrosanct laws incurs severe Kolto export restrictions on the violating government. Both the Republic and the Sith try to keep the Selkath happy and give them no cause to complain, but I wonder how the Sith can take this affront to their power in stride. Many people speak highly of the integrity of the Selkath people, but from what little I have seen of them, they are disgusting little fish people. But I suppose I just have too high standards. I am sorry, but I do not know anything about this place. It truly is an unknown world to me. I would be surprised if anyone at all in the Republic knew of it. We should be on our guard at all times. Korriban, I have heard, is a mysterious world. It is rumored to hold many ancient ruins of a purpose that none have been able to discover. There are also tales of strange ghosts and monsters haunting the ruins, whispering in the ears of all who would listen and driving them mad. The Jedi are not welcome here, however, so we cannot determine the truth that may lie in these rumors. Korriban remains staunchly outside the Republic, and we suspect that the Sith may have spread their influence here as well. The large Zerka Corporation outpost also points towards that. If the Zerka Corporation is the industrial arms of the Sith Empire, then judging by the size of their facilities here, this may be a very dangerous world indeed. We must watch ourselves closely here. Tatooine is a filthy desert. Planets such as this should not be fit for life at all. My skin itches just to be here. As you can see, it is a desert. Very little water, too much sand. This sort of place attracts too much of the seedier side of civilization. As to the particulars of this world itself, I can safely say it holds no interest for me, and I will be well pleased when we leave here and never return. Now, is there something else, or may we hurry and do what we have to do here as quickly as possible? I have heard of this world, Kashyyyk. It is a place of giant trees that have overgrown the entire world, blanketing it in greenery. But while it is beautiful to behold at times, it can also be quite deadly. Many creatures and predators lurk in the leaves and branches, some small, some undoubtedly quite large. I have heard that the bottom layers of the trees have never been seen by a living being who returned to tell of it, and that traveling there is certain death. I do not envy any who go there. It is most odd that Revan came here, but perhaps in the vast canopy of one of these trees we may find another piece of the star map. I have heard of no indigenous race that inhabits this world, but I must profess my ignorance, since I have only heard its name in passing. I have been bothered by something of late. I never told you where I came from, did I? Where I grew up as a child? I suppose I was trying to deny what I was feeling. I have been wrestling with my feelings inside, trying to come to terms with it, but I find I cannot. I must have someone to blame. Someone to blame for the destruction of my homeworld. Someone who is responsible for the death of everyone I have ever known except those on Dantooine. You self-centered fool. To think that I would desire to mate with one such as you, should that even be possible. You are the center of the universe. What does it matter if my homeworld was wiped out by your actions? Who cares if it is because of you that everyone I knew as a child is dead? Fine. Then I will not. What does it matter to you if my homeworld was wiped out by your actions? Who cares if it is because of you that everyone I knew as a child is dead? Taris. It was Taris that the Sith destroyed to try to kill you and your precious Bastila. Taris, my homeworld. If it were not for you and Bastila, the Sith would have never had reason to destroy that world. It was your fault for being there and your fault for rescuing Bastila. Without your intervention, the Sith would have had no cause to lay waste to my childhood. Just let me vent my anger. I need someone to blame. Something. Anything. I hated that world. Yet everything I learned as a child, I learned there. It is as much a part of me as the air I breathe. I have this ache inside me, where all my childhood memories lay, and I find your face there with them. If it was not for you, that world would still exist. I know. I suppose I realized that. But it is so hard to lose your entire past. You would not understand. Yes, I suppose it will. As long as we remain focused on our task, it will. I am sorry. I will try not to distract you in the future with my trivial experiences. We should stop for now. I suppose that is to be expected. Everything will turn out for the best as long as we remain focused on our task. There is no emotion. There is peace. I suppose you did what you had to, and it could not have been avoided. The Republic needs you and Bastila. Maybe needs you more than it needed Taris. Oh, yes. I have been told all about her vaunted powers with the Force. Her battle meditation that can turn the tide of any conflict. Well, if it could, then why could Taris not have been saved? What did you think would happen by aiding the Republic? The sacrifice of an entire world is too much for any cause. How would you feel if Dantooine or Alderaan or some such world were destroyed? Would you be so callous then? It was my home. Taris. It was Taris that the Sith destroyed to try to kill you and your precious Bastila. Taris, my homeworld. Not that you care. You animal. It is only because of the Council's will that I stay with you. But if you betray us, I may decide that falling to the dark side will be a small price to pay for letting my anger run loose. Someone else is not responsible for wiping out my homeworld by their actions. But who cares if it is because of you that everyone I have ever known of Dantooine is dead? Someone else is not responsible for wiping out my homeworld by their actions. But who cares if it is because of you that everyone I have ever known of Dantooine is dead? I was remembering Taris. No, it's all right. I think I am over the worst of it. I apologize again for lashing out at you. It was not your fault. It was a horrible place to have to live. At least in the lower cities where the non-humans tended to get relegated. Living for years in a place with no sun, living off the trash dropped from the upper levels, and the meager pay doing back-breaking labor. There was always the danger of raghouls coming up from the sewers, or more mundane predators living and working in the area. My family and I struggled each and every day to make something of our lives, but we could only go so far. Taxes from the corrupt government, more fees from the gangs controlling the streets, and whatever was left paying for what food and medical supplies we could afford. With no money to spare for any amenities, even the enclave on Dantooine seems a paradise in comparison. And of course, there was the constant bigotry and hate from the more affluent and human citizens, lording their wealth over us living below. Every once in a while, a rich human would come down through the lower levels with his droid entourage just to see how the wildlife lived and laughed at the mockeries that were our successes. But I have come to meet many decent humans in my travels since those days. Indeed, some of the greatest people I have ever met are human. The Jedi who encouraged me to join the Order, the one who was with the group going to fight the Mandalorians, she was human. I suppose I see something of her in you when I look. I am sorry. I am getting away from my point, if there even was one. Sometimes I curse the day my parents fled to Taris, but then again, if they had not, I would not be where I am today. Another story for another time. For now we must continue our own epic, to save the galaxy, if we can. I have noticed that. But the Jedi Order seems to have collected a fair number. It did not, but only because of the Jedi who came. It was very bad. There were none. Bad enough to be a race that is feared and hated by humans, but to be one that is strange and different, even among non-humans? But living was hard enough, without the stigma of being from a lost race. You mock my pain. It was a horrible place to live. We had to go through hell every day just to survive. And you think it bothering me is an irritation? Your insensitivity speaks ill of your qualities as a Jedi. Still, as the Council ordered me to do, I shall accompany you, but expect no great sympathy for your plights. I am thinking of what happened on Korriban. I am appalled at the things the Sith did there. I cannot help but notice that your manner is increasingly like that of the Sith. But I do not believe it was. We should have been able to find another way. I should have helped you find another path. I should have tried harder to stop you. And I am sure that is exactly the same justification that Malak and Revan used before they fell. Your overconfidence may yet be your downfall. I will still stand by your side, though. I only wish that what I see meant more to you, that I could turn you back. Will you try? For me? I see. I will still stand by you, as I have said before. I can only hope that when the time comes, you will do what is right. Thank you. I am sure we can succeed together. I can only hope that when the time comes, you will do what is right. Maybe you should have. The fact that you think so gives me hope. I hope that you will return to the path of the Jedi, to me. I am your companion. I am a fellow Jedi. I only seek to ensure the success of our mission. To see such horrible, warped rituals that the Sith practice, it is unnerving. I can truly see now why we must defeat Malak as quickly as possible, to prevent that sort of society from consuming the entire galaxy. It angers me to think of it. Yes, I understand. Do not let my passions and impulses rule me. Remain calm and serene. But I fear that when I am confronted with these monsters, I will lose myself. I think that I may yet fall to the dark side by the very desire to fight it. Yes, it could be, if you look at it callously enough, but I cannot. I know, I should not worry. I am grateful for your support in this matter. It seems that whenever I have a problem, I turn to you. Sometimes I almost seem to want problems, just for the chance. But I am sorry. I should not speak of this. It is a relief to have someone to turn to when I am feeling uncertain. Of course, I will assist you as I am able. How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan? Dantooine. Dantooine has been my home for a number of years, ever since I started my training with the Jedi. It is a lightly populated planet, mostly focused on agriculture and hunting of the wild beasts that roam its plains. The most populous form of animals on its surface are the Irias, herd beasts that are normally quite tame, but can be violent when provoked, and the Kathhounds, vicious pack predators. Kathhounds do not normally attack people, except when it is a pack of them ambushing a lone individual. But recently, they have been much more aggressive. I am to blame for that, I believe. But enough of my self-recrimination. I should not dwell on the past, but rather look to the future. How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan? Manaan is a water-rich world, as you may have been able to tell. With the exception of this Otto city, there is no land on the world protruding above sea level. The dominant indigenous race of the world are the Selkath, a semi-aquatic bipedal species. They are known to be very dreary and strong proponents of the power of law above all else. The extremist policies of the Sith seem to appeal to them. They have declared themselves neutral in this conflict between the Republic and the Sith. The Selkath seek to preserve their independence by maintaining a stranglehold on the one unique resource of their world, the vulnerary liquid Kolto, the most powerful curative in the galaxy. As the only world in the galaxy that produces Kolto, they have positioned themselves between the Sith and the Republic, supplying both sides with the medicine equally. They hope in this way to make themselves too valuable to both to be conquered. As a last resort, they have made it clear to both sides that any attempt to attack their world will force them to destroy the Kolto supply entirely. Any violation by either the Republic or the Sith of their sacrosanct laws incurs severe Kolto export restrictions on the violating government. Both the Republic and the Sith try to keep the Selkath happy and give them no cause to complain. But I wonder how the Sith can take this affront to their power in stride. Many people speak highly of the integrity of the Selkath people, but from what little I have seen of them, they are disgusting little fish people. But I suppose I just have too high standards. I am sorry, but I do not know anything about this place. It truly is an unknown world to me. I would be surprised if anyone at all in the Republic knew of it. We should be on our guard at all times. Korriban, I have heard, is a mysterious world. It is rumored to hold many ancient ruins of a purpose that none have been able to discover. There are also tales of strange ghosts and monsters haunting the ruins, whispering in the ears of all who would listen and driving them mad. The Jedi are not welcome here, however, so we cannot determine the truth that may lie in these rumors. Korriban remains staunchly outside the Republic, and we suspect that the Sith may have spread their influence here as well. The large Zerka Corporation outpost also points towards that. If the Zerka Corporation is the industrial arms of the Sith Empire, then judging by the size of their facilities here, this may be a very dangerous world indeed. We must watch ourselves closely here. Tatooine is a filthy desert. Planets such as this should not be fit for life at all. My skin itches just to be here. As you can see, it is a desert. Very little water, too much sand. This sort of place attracts too much of the seedier side of civilization. As to the particulars of this world itself, I can safely say it holds no interest for me, and I will be well pleased when we leave here and never return. Now, is there something else? Or may we hurry and do what we have to do here as quickly as possible? I have heard of this world, Kashyyyk. It is a place of giant trees that have overgrown the entire world, blanketing it in greenery. But while it is beautiful to behold at times, it can also be quite deadly. Many creatures and predators lurk in the leaves and branches, some small, some undoubtedly quite large. I have heard that the bottom layers of the trees have never been seen by a living being who returned to tell of it, and that traveling there is certain death. I do not envy any who go there. It is most odd that Revan came here, but perhaps in the vast canopy of one of these trees, we may find another piece of the star map. I have heard of no indigenous race that inhabits this world, but I must profess my ignorance, since I have only heard its name in passing. What is it you would like to speak to me about? There is little to tell. Dak and I were both Padawans. We joined the Order at the same time. He was a kind man, but frustrated. He felt the Jedi were too controlling, too limiting, more so than I did. When he decided to leave the Order, he asked me to come with him. He said he loved me. No, I didn't. I enjoyed his company as a friend, but nothing further. I had no idea he felt as he did. I suppose the rest is obvious enough that I need not tell it. It was serious enough to him and to me, for I did not wish to hurt him. I had little choice in the matter. He was angry at my refusal. I assumed that he would get over the hurt in time. I suppose such feelings can fester and darken, and they never go away. He reminds me of what I was when you found me in the grove. I feel sorry for him, but he has chosen his path, hasn't he? If I thought he would accept an offer of help, I would give it. Let us just move on, please. How I came to be a Jedi, I am sure you would not find it very interesting. Are you sure you would like to hear? Well, it goes back a number of years. Back on my homeworld, we did not see Jedi very often, especially where I lived. The hind end of space, a pit of a world, to be sure, where Jedi rarely tread. But we had heard of them. Well, everyone had, so that is not to be unexpected. Champions of truth, defenders of justice, heroes of the Republic. It was very easy for a child to be enthralled by their image, their mystique. Maybe I was one of those children. Yes, I did. Allow children their innocence while they still may have it. I was not so innocent, but I too was affected. When I saw a Jedi for the first time, they lived up to everything my imagination had created them to be. I was awed, and maybe a little enamored. They were quite striking, especially the tales of their leader. From that moment on, I knew that I would have to try to become a Jedi, to lift myself out of the rut I had been living in for years, and to make a real difference as the Jedi were. The foolish delusions of a child, but this child made it happen. As soon as I was able, I left my world and went in search of them. I found them and was accepted. I had been living my dream on Dantooine for several years before you came, although perhaps I was not entirely ready for it, or not completely suited to the task. Otherwise I would not have fallen. But thanks to you, I have been redeemed. Perhaps I may yet live to see that dream of mine come true. Come, there is much we should do. Let us not waste time talking. Action is what is needed. It was not the home world of the Cathar that I lived on. My parents had long fled from that place, and perhaps that is a story for another time. Rather, it was a human hive world that I was raised on. Bad enough that Jedi rarely came to that place. Very well, then. Perhaps some other time you might deign to be interested. My attempt at humility seems to fail around you. So be it, then. Go immerse yourself in something else. Well, I suppose I have not talked very much about the Jedi I met back home. They, all of them, were so very invigorating. They were so very alive, so full of hope and energy and zeal. In retrospect, I can see it was a little bit tragic. Well, yes. These Jedi were going to fight the Mandalorians just after they had invaded. Many of those Jedi perished in the fighting. But to us, they seemed invincible, especially their leader, who they talked about all the time. Paragons of light and justice, sweeping away all iniquity before them. It was like looking at gods. I know that. I was using poetic license. But those Jedi, they were enthralling. Everyone wanted just to touch them. Some people thought it would bring them luck. Not that the peace they brought lasted very long. The Jedi left. The people grew complacent. Those who had been wronged saw their chance at revenge. And so the cycle continues. The oppressed become the new generation of oppressors. The human oppressed, that is. The non-humans were never treated well in any case. We felt the brunt of both administrations. Of course it was. They took their frustrations and hates out on us because the people they wanted had already fled or were too well protected. What? Of course I can. They took their frustrations and hates out on us because the people they wanted had already fled or were too well protected. But no one looks out for the injustices we suffered. Oh, no. But I am sorry. I should not have outbursts like that. Don't you see? The very fact I mentioned it means it has its influence. Anger can lead to the dark side, and I must be ever careful that I do not fall back into those ways. I know. And I must be ever careful that I do not fall back into those ways again. No, it is not. Anger can lead to the dark side, and I must be ever careful that I do not fall back into those ways. I thank you for your support. My outburst was uncalled for, but you did not lash back at me. You are a much better Jedi than I, it would seem. But let us not speak more of this now. We should continue on our journey. Perhaps later we will talk again. Yes. But humans seem the most pervasive, the most consistent. They took their frustrations and hates out on us because the people they wanted had already fled or were too well protected. Of course they left. They had a war to go fight so that we would not all be killed by those psychotic Mandalorians. I can only assume that that was some misguided attempt at humor. I was using poetic license. But those Jedi... I was merely using poetic license. Those Jedi were going to fight the Mandalorians just after they had invaded. Many of those Jedi perished in the fighting. If you do not wish to hear what I have to say, then find some other being to converse with. What? You? Ugh, it is useless talking to you, it seems. Come back when you are more civilized, or when we have something to do. Well, I mentioned before that my parents had fled to Taris. Perhaps I can tell you about that. In the early days of the Mandalorian War, there had been fighting closer to the Outer Rim worlds. Cathar was there, yes. My people had a great reputation as warriors, and that appealed to the Mandalore version of honor. They sought to test themselves against us, I think. Test themselves by bombing our world, slaughtering my people while they slept or while they ran. They swooped down from space across the world, firing at anything that moved. They used ships in space to destroy all orbital facilities and bombard the surface. We did resist, and in spite of their violent attack, we did stave them off for quite a while. But in the end, we were doomed. We were not members of the Republic. Cathar was beyond the edge of the Republic, in the Outer Rim. And besides, they could not have known. Our interstellar communications were the first things the Mandalores hit. All other short-range communicators were jammed. We were on our own. We knew what was coming. We had fought the Mandalorians in the first war against Exar Kun and the Sith. We knew there would be no mercy for us. The most we could do was pack the few of our people who survived onto what few ships remained and send them off into space as fast as they could. Most did not make it. My parents carried me as a baby with them and were lucky enough to escape. They fled as far as they were able and eventually settled on Taris. They could stand running no further, I think. But Taris was a horrible choice. Dominated by humans, intolerant of other species, it made everyday life unnecessarily hard. My father turned to stimulants. He spent much of his time in local bars and dives. But we are warriors. It runs through our blood. And when he was on stims, he became foolish. He let his warrior nature get the best of him. So he would get intoxicated, and he would fight. And finally, one day, he would die. Killed by a man who provoked him into a fight and killed him like an animal. I am sorry. I cannot talk about this any longer right now. I don't need your sarcasm or your pity. He died at the hands of another. Perhaps they were not. Perhaps they did not know better. It did not take long for things to get worse. No, it is not. But they had little choice. Each of us dealt with it in our own way. We were prepared, just not for an invasion of that size. And we had counted on the aid of our allies, of the Republic. No, there were not. Having fled the birth world of my species, my parents flew as far and wide as they could. And so I was raised alone, knowing of my birthplace only the few stories my parents could tell, and seeing no other member of my species at all. It all comes back to wars and fighting. The curse of your race, it seems. I have told you my life story already. What more could you possibly want to know? Well, there is one thing. I did not want to mention it before, because I was unsure how you would react. Do you remember when I told you of the Jedi who had come to my world to fight the Mandalorians? They were recruiting soldiers for their crusade against the Mandalores. Many people joined them. The main reason for that was their charismatic leader, the one whose troops freed me and let me dream of seeking out and joining the Jedi Order. I idolized her and the stories they told of her. She was everything that I had dreamed a Jedi could be. I still believe she was that way. I idolized him and the stories they told of him. He was everything I had dreamed a Jedi could be. I still believe he was that way. I was hesitant to talk to you about this because, well, the Jedi had come to fight the Mandalores under the leadership of a powerful young Jedi, a Jedi named Revan. Yes, it was you. I never saw you, else I would have recognized you, but it was your army that freed me from the slavers. I cannot express how you have changed my life, or how much you mean to me. But I will stay by your side through any trials that may come. Such is the will of the Council, and my own. I cannot express how you have changed my life. The Revan, the Jedi who turned to the dark side, became the Dark Lord of the Sith and was defeated by Bastila and her strike team. I do not know what happened in the wars with the Mandalorians that turned Revan and Malak, or what they sought with these star maps, but the Jedi I knew was a paragon of the Order. I am sorry if this seems wrong to you, but to understand, you must realize that Revan was as great as a Jedi could be. Whatever turned Revan must be terrible indeed. I wonder if what we find at the end of our journey will turn us as well. This is meaningless speculation, I guess. I just wanted you to know what I held from you. But rest assured that I will not hold back. If our enemy is Malak, Revan's apprentice, or indeed even if it was Revan, I will help you through all trouble. Such is the will of the Council, and my own. Yes, I thought you might react badly, but it was Revan. If you do not want to listen, I understand, but hear me out first. You will see, perhaps. After my father died, my mother was left to support me alone. A single non-human woman, living in one of the worst, most violent slums on Taris. It was not easy for her. When my father was killed, it seemed that something in her began to die as well. She worked. She worked as hard as she was able. But over time, she began to waste away. I later learned that she was unable to get enough money to feed both of us, and had to start borrowing from the exchange, a band of cutthroats and smugglers. But even that was not enough. She hid what she was doing from me. She gave most of her food to me so that I would be strong, but she herself was suffering deeply from it. In the end, she could go on no longer, and collapsed at the cantina where she worked one day. She never recovered. There was nothing really that I could do for her. She left me no money, and no doctor would see her without being paid first. I sat by her bed for days as she lay there dying. I never want that to happen to someone I care about ever again. But there was still the money she had borrowed. She had never paid it back and made no provisions for her death. You must understand, the exchange is brutal. They care nothing for the life of a sentient being. They are the major suppliers of slaves on Terrace. They thought it would be appropriate that, with my mother owing them money, the debt should be passed on to me. And with no way to pay, they took me by force. You have no idea what it is like to be bound like a beast and treated as such. It was the worst time of my life. They treated me like livestock. They were waiting for a buyer to give them some credit for me when the Jedi came to fight the Mandalorians. The Jedi could not abide by what they saw there, and drove the exchange from the face of the world, freeing those of us imprisoned there. But the Jedi soon left to fight their war, and I was left with a dream. I swore that I would become a Jedi. As soon as I had enough money to do it, I bought passage on a freighter headed for Dantooine, and we both know what has happened since then. I am grateful to you for having given me the opportunity to fulfill my dream, rather than become what I hated. Someday I may make it up to you, but for now, let us keep on the task at hand. I thank you for your concern, but I am still a bit shaken. I have been thinking about myself, about Courtenay, and about my fall to the dark side. I keep thinking that it was my anger that drove me that far, that nearly damned me. I look inside myself now, and I can still see it. I still feel it. I think maybe that I just need more time. Would you rather I fell again and attacked, slaughtered you in your sleep like an animal? I see in your pride you do not think that's possible. Very well, then. Keep your own counsel. More time would do me good. Time to distance myself from that anger. I think that is why the council agreed to send me with you. They think, perhaps, that in your company I will be able to free myself from it. I thank you for your concern and your acceptance. I will strive to prove that I am worthy of your company and trust. I do not come here begging for scraps from you. I will earn my way with you. You will see just how valuable I am. I am. I try to be strong, as one of my people should. But I know I am still weak inside. I have been doing well, I suppose, as well as I can. But I am more interested in you right now. Do not mistake me. It is just that, even though we have traveled together for a while, it seems I know next to nothing about you personally. Please, forgive me. I did not mean to insinuate that we... It did not come out the way I had intended. We have been traveling together since Dantooine, but I know nothing of you before that. Would you humor me and tell me a little bit about yourself? Your job, your childhood, your life, your family? I am sorry if I am making you uncomfortable. I will fully understand if you choose not to answer. I greatly appreciate your taking the time to talk to me. How did you come to be on Dantooine? Besides the obvious, of course. Terrace. It always seems to come back to Terrace for me. I am sorry. I get distracted. I already know the tales of your exploits, how you defeated the Mandalorians in the war, and how you fell. But now you have the chance to redeem yourself, to make a new page in your history. So now, I suppose, that all does not matter. Only your life now does. I am sorry. I get distracted. What did you do before that? A life in the army. Not my career of choice, though. We Cathar cannot seem to adjust to regimented organizations like the military. But in a way, it does seem to have its own romantic appeal. Defending the galaxy from evil, much as we Jedi do. So, in a way, I suppose we are more alike than not. But again, I seem to be wasting your time with my carrying on. I apologize. But I have heard that it appeals to males of your species. Fighting, defending. That is what we as Jedi seem to be called upon to do. Perhaps we are not as unalike as I had previously thought. Huh. Yes, I kind of figured that. From where? Oh, wait, I remember. I understand. I appreciate that you take the time to talk to me. I will be more considerate of your time in the future. Huh. Humility. Please, if you would, indulge me. Your humility is astounding, as always. So what can you tell me? Ah, I see. It is because you wish to keep me at arm's length. Are you worried about me turning to the dark side? Or do you merely not wish my company? Whatever the case, I am sorry for presuming too much. I will remember my station from now on. Yes, I do. I more than most, perhaps. But I do not know the stories of your past. Legends rarely are laid bare like that. I have been thinking much about our journey, and I am grateful and honored that you have accepted me with you. It is an honor to be by your side, and to see you redeemed from the dark path you had chosen before. I am not used to such unbiased acceptance from one who is nearly a stranger to me. We Cathar do not make friends easily, or for long. Even on Dantooine I remained alone, not ostracized exactly, but separate. In truth, I have lived in the Republic too long, and I know little. I never met any others of my race other than my parents. But we are not diplomats. We do not deal well with groups. This situation is new to me. Yes, it was. I find it difficult to speak of those things. I do not want to live that way ever again. And here, it seems different. Well, even if we do not speak that often, or are apart, I still feel a part of a team, this group you have assembled that accompanies you and Bastila on your quest. It is warming. I feel almost welcome, needed. You seem to be very decisive when it is required of you. It is reassuring to know that I can count on someone like you. What? But I thought... It seems I was mistaken. I should have known things could not change for me that easily. As it is the Council's wishes, I will accompany you. I will do my duty and trust that you will do yours. To be accepted so readily, I find it difficult to explain. It is so different from what I am used to. Yes, and that is my point. I find it difficult to explain. It is so different from what I am used to. Just thank you for accepting me. I feel that I could count on any of you. But you are the one who drew me back from the dark side. It is to you that I feel a debt, and I shall make it up to you. What? Terrace was my home for many years. As much as I hated it, it was still home. A rat hole, a warren, a paradise. I suppose you could call it all these things. For me, it was hell. You have no idea what it is like to have to live there for years. But it was precisely the people who made it so bad. To walk down the streets, to have people look at you in disgust, like an animal. Most did not know anything about me, but it was there, all the same. Because I was an alien, because I was different from them, frightening. I doubt any of them had even seen my people before. So they persecuted me. They looked down on me and my family. Charged us more for food, would not let us walk their streets. They spat on us. You are human. You could not possibly know. That is true, I suppose. But it is much more obvious for someone like me. There were no other Cathar on Terrace. No one to talk to, no one to confide in. but you must think me weak for saying this. But I am strong enough to admit it. I thank you for your concern, but I do not know. I have been keeping it inside for so long. I thought you might understand. You do not seem to fit in exactly with the others. You are different. Maybe I am weak. To think that some stories of my stupid past could possibly interest you. I thank you. You are kinder than I would have expected to put up with me using you in this way. I hope that I will not use your time so badly in the future. Thank you. Maybe there is no point. Maybe I am just lost after leaving yet another planet. I apologize for my outburst. I will try to control myself next time. How can you say that? You have seen Terrace. You know what kind of a scum-infested hole it is. For us, there was no respite. No one to turn to. What? You are just like them. I would not have thought you were so cruel as that. It seems I was mistaken. I should have known things could not change for me that easily. As it is the Council's wishes, I will accompany you. I will do my duty and trust that you will do yours. I am wary of the Mandalorian. I do not trust him. I have never trusted Mandalorians. They drove my parents from Cathar, aided the Sith, and attacked the Republic. Their warped notions of honor may provoke them to do even more heinous acts. I do not know why you tolerate his presence on your ship. In truth, he has had some merit so far, but I am not certain it is worth the risk you take. Eliminate? What? I never proposed to murder the man. His kind may prove to be a danger to the galaxy again, but this man himself has proven acceptable so far. Merely keep your distance from him and watch him so that he does not betray us. Spoken to him? No, I could not. Mandalorians are vicious of temper and easily provoked. I would not want to tempt his wrath. I am sorry. It is just that I cannot stand to be around him for very long. I suppose I do not really dislike him. It is just the Mandalorians came and overran my world. They slaughtered my race. I cannot forget what they have done, or forgive. You are right, of course. You always seem to know what you speak of. Maybe not. I cannot forgive them for what they have done to me and my people. In time, Canderous may prove himself, but it will not be easy. I can take care of myself. I do not need you to patronize me. But I thank you for your kind words. It is hard being alone all the time. To be accepted and welcomed is flattering. But it is gratifying to know that you value me as a companion that much. This simmering anger and hatred for the Mandalores seems to have found a place in my heart, though. Sometimes I worry that I may fall to the dark side once again, that I may threaten you, the Republic, the entire galaxy. If that time does come, and if I do threaten our task, it is only right that you should strike me down. But still, it eats away at me. I worry that I may yet again fall and endanger everything I hold dear. Should that time come again, I would rather no one else do it than the one who redeemed me in the first place. If I fall and endanger you and the galaxy, you must do what is right. If my death will defeat Malak, then that is what must be done. But we are becoming too morbid, too soon. We should not talk like this now. There is much yet we can do. But we shall talk later, I am sure. I am not a coward. I fear no one and nothing. But you have not had to flee the destruction of your homeworld either, human. Speak to him? No. I am not paranoid. My suspicions are justified. I dare not speak about it around him, though. That is true. But also, I know his kind. This man, he may be different, but I am not. They are not to be trusted. They are brutes and savages and destroyers of worlds. Of course, if there is anything else, I am here to help. I do not know how to help you with that. I am sorry. I do not have the answer to your question. Ha! Rah! Rah! I will be your doom! For the Republic! Ha! You will fall! For the order! Attack! I will try. That is what a Jedi can do. Disabled. I cannot do this. This will surprise them. I am in need of aid. This medicine should work. I do not feel well. We should join once more. Your wish? Yes? What is it? Opened. I must go alone for a while. I shall be attentive. I shall not be seen. I cannot harm it.